Welcome to the College Essay Advisors podcast. Before we introduce ourselves, here's a little preview of what's to come.
I think about AI in my own life, and I encourage students to think about it in theirs as an assistive tool, not as a creative generator. I think I don't think you want AI to whip something out of thin air for you, but I do think you can use it in some really interesting ways.
Welcome to the College Essay Advisors podcast, an ongoing exploration of how to write admissions essays that get you noticed and accepted.
Hi, my name is Stacey Brooke, and I'm the founder and chief advisor at College Essay Advisors.
Hi, my name is Becca Myers, and I am the Director of Advising at College Essay Advisors.
And today we're going to discuss AI in your college admissions essays. Yay or nay? And the answer...
not such a straight...
The answer is probably somewhere in the middle, huh?
It's what's the combination of yay or nay? Yay.
Perfect. Amazing.
The answer is nay. So I'm going to ask Stacey some questions about AI because I think that this landscape right now, particularly for a lot of parents, is fraught trying to figure out how to navigate AI, which, like, I have a rising sixth grader, and I understand that the way it's being incorporated already into his middle school curriculum, this is not going anywhere. So we at home are already trying to teach him the tools to use it responsibly because it's not realistic to ignore it, particularly because a lot of vocations are going to be incorporating it. So I would like to ask you, Stacey, how you feel about it, particularly in related to this application process.
Yeah. I mean, I think last year I would have said stay far, 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 far away from AI, just like period, end of story. I think partially because I mean, there still are clear markers if someone is using an AI tool, things that come up pretty regularly that flag that for admissions officers. Also, you're cheating yourself out of the experience of writing an essay if you don't actually write the essay. That said, I do think it's more nuanced than that. I do think that that students can responsibly use AI for things like idea exploration, or to get a little bit more of a sense of what is expected from a college essay potentially. So the short answer is I think as long as you're not using AI to write your essay, you're not saying, these are a few things about me, now write an essay for me about this, that there are potentially ways to use it more ethically. You do still really have to be careful, though. Students have been speaking to me a lot this year about AI detection engines, and I think they have teachers who say, like, well, no, if you use AI, I don't think that's true. I don't know that there's any, I have not heard or read about, and I'm looking all over the place for this stuff all the time, any detection tool that's reliable enough for, say, like a school to like stake a claim and say, this is AI generated in a provable way. But I also don't think you want to rely on AI in a way that makes your essay inauthentic and truly not written by you, so that there's any question about it at all.
Yeah. We have another episode that talks about the telltale signs of AI having been used to write an essay. And I just want to emphasize that we are not suggesting you don't use AI because we want to make your life harder. It's because colleges are looking to really hear your voice. And what AI does is it has a robotic quality to it that really doesn't differentiate you. And so
it also doesn't know you.
It doesn't know
the
you.
engines don't know you, even if you have been using it for school, for other things, and you know, these engines do like learn about you in a way as they go. Like, what are you searching? What are your projects about? That kind of thing. But it doesn't know your memories. It doesn't understand your formative moments. You know, there are things that need to come from your head and your imagination and your experience and memory that AI just does not have access to. And those are the kinds of things that really will make these these admissions essays, those personal statements, compelling, authentic, that will reveal for admissions what you will bring of value to campus. So I just think it's pretty much impossible for AI to uniquely generate on its own an essay that is personal enough about you to be successful. I still think we're
Yeah.
until the chip gets implanted in your brain, AI doesn't have it has the capacity to do a lot of things well. I don't think that from start to finish writing an admissions essay is a college admissions essay is where it's at yet.
Yeah. True. When you said chip implanted in your brain, I immediately thought of a potato chip,
Oh my God, that
which I
sounds so
think is
good.
just the kind of chip I would get.
Sounds delicious.
And I know this is a higher tier conversation with my students, but I also bring up to them that they are on the threshold of an experience that they seem to want, which is spending an additional 4 years learning and actively engaging with critical thinking. And in many cases, even for STEM students, at least their first year, a liberal arts curriculum. So you really need to ask yourself, if I were going to use AI to do this completely, why am I taking this next step to go to higher learning? And I know for some students, it's because, well, I'm on a treadmill, I have to get the right job. But I think it's an important moment to step back and reflect and say, I want to do this myself. Like there's a certain calibration and internal register where you can ask yourself, I want to be a human who does this myself. And I just think that's an important distinction.
Yeah, I mean, I think about AI in my own life, and I encourage students to think about it in theirs as an assistive tool, not as a creative generator. I think I don't think you want AI to whip something out of thin air for you, but I do think you can use it in some really interesting ways help your discovery process, to like push your train of thought in a certain way that you might not have previously thought about. Again, it's a tool, it's not a replacement. It's not a replacement for your own brain power and your own reflection and your own creativity, imagination, etc. So I mean, really and truly am not an AI hater. I embrace it in so many parts of my life and this business. It's so incredibly useful, and people are using it in all kinds of ways. And I do think students will need to have that facility, that will need to have it down. But I think part of the complexities of this and part of the challenge of this generation is going to be figuring out when and where to use it to best effect, and when you really need to rely on your own brain power.
Yes, and I will add that my husband is a university professor teaching first year writing and creative writing, and he is also incorporating it into his classroom, but with a focus on in-class writing. So for anyone thinking that you can go to college and cheat the system, I am currently married to a person. I don't know why I said currently. Sorry. I am married to a person who is grappling with this, and universities are having conversations about it and are still making sure that students are doing the work on their own. So it's a tool that you can use, as Stacey said, for, not for creative generation, but for assistance. But you have to be able to do the creative generation yourself. And universities are making sure that they're set up to be able to do that.
Completely. And I do think that universities know, they see the writing on the wall, and they want students to both have the facility to use these tools and the willpower and judgment to not use them when they won't be helpful, when they will be cheating someone out of the experience, when they will make the product less authentic. There is no blanket policy. Like there's nothing on the common application that says you cannot use AI, but there are at least a handful of schools at this point that have specific AI policies. We actually have an ongoing list of schools' AI policies on our website, which we can link in the comments of the video. But they vary from absolutely you cannot use any assistive AI to you can only use AI in this context, mainly like idea generation, exploratory functions, that kind of thing. But there's at least one school, I believe it's Michigan Law School, which banned people from using AI last year in their application. And this year they are asking people to use AI on one of their essays. They're asking for, I mean, the switch is happening so quickly. The technology is moving so fast. The philosophy behind what AI is good for, what's ethical, what's not ethical. It's all just moving so rapidly. I think also a lot of we just have to pay attention to where this is going. But in my mind, AI is here to stay. We need to learn how to use it responsibly and ethically. I mean, we had the same kinds of conversations about the internet when it first launched. All those years ago, you have access to all of this information. How do we best use it? Like, that was scary when it happened, in the same way that I think AI is really kind of shaking things up, just in terms of industry, in terms of what people can create. So for me, and I think for most students I know, I think the best route, the best course of action is to learn as much as you can, really pay attention, embrace the new tools, and then also know when it's best to rely on your own thoughts, your own ideas, your own sense of self, because I still believe, at least for the moment, that nothing compares to the human brain.
When students do get to college,
Yes.
They have to be prepared, even if a school, I don't know of schools yet that have issued any kind of a blanket policy in terms of within the classroom experience here, you cannot use it. I don't expect that to happen, but individual professors will ask you probably to sign contracts the way they do for honor codes. I used to make my students sign an honor pledge. And
Yeah.
I know that my husband right now is thinking about ways that he can incorporate AI into expository writing, but also make students be accountable and
Yeah.
sign a pledge to themselves and to him that they will not use it for creative generation.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
that you may find various levels of that within the classroom.
1000%. But AI will be there. I mean, there are now like there's lots of competition to see who will get the contracts for various universities between the top AI engines. This is happening. Schools are going to give students access to these tools. I think bottom line, yay. We're not, I think it's
or nay.
The conversation about AI as related to generating the college essay is nuanced. I think there is potentially a place for AI to be used ethically. I do think ultimately, when it comes to structuring an essay on the page in your own words, that has to come from you. That has to happen. Like, it has to come from between your own two ears. I don't think you're going to get a super high quality personal essay without that. But AI is here. It's powerful. And I don't think there's any harm in exploring in that way. And I'm sure we will have more conversations about this. But we did want to come on here today and just talk about it a little more, because big changes are happening. And as we said, this is kind of a moving target, and we will be here as things change, as our opinions change. But we know that if you follow your gut as a student, you'll know what's right.
That's our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you like our content, please like and subscribe to follow us for more. Happy writing!